we're about to look at one of nature's most unbelievable transformations. We're talking about how the driest place on Earth can, almost overnight, just burst into a sea of flowers. So, how does it happen? Let's get into this incredible survival story.
Okay, so first you have to picture this place. We're talking about the Atacama Desert in Chile. It's a land of rust-colored rock and vast empty salt flats. Seriously, this is a place where rain is basically a myth. It is officially the driest non-polar desert on the entire planet. But then, every once in a while, this happens. The entire landscape, which was just brown and red, completely vanishes under this incredible wave of wildflowers. The locals call it the Desierto Florido, the flowering desert. It's just stunning.
And that right there is the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a place that's defined by its total lack of water manage to pull off one of the most beautiful flower shows in the world? Well, the answer is all about patience and some seriously brilliant biological design. So, what is it that flips the switch? Let's dive into the very specific and pretty rare conditions that have to be met to make this incredible event happen.
To really get how wild this is, you have to appreciate the level of dryness we're talking about. This isn't just, a dry spell. In some parts of the Atacama, they have gone decades, literally decades, without a single measurable drop of rain. So the trigger, and this only happens every 5 to 8 years or so, is a batch of unusually heavy rains during the winter. It doesn't even have to be a ton of water, but when those few precious drops fall at just the right moment, the desert just wakes up, and within a few weeks, the bloom starts.
But the rain is really just the starting gun. The real secret, the actual power behind this whole phenomenon, has been there the entire time, just waiting, right under the sand.
That's right. The answer isn't coming from the sky, it's already in the soil. The key to this entire explosion of life is a kind of biological superpower that's built into millions and millions of tiny seeds, all patiently waiting for their moment to shine.
And that superpower has a name. It's called seed dormancy. And look at this definition here, because this is the really interesting part. Dormancy is when a seed refuses to grow, even when things look pretty good outside. It's like a built-in emergency brake.
So it's really not accurate to think of these seeds as just sleeping. This is an active, highly evolved strategy for survival. It's a calculated, high-stakes waiting game. And in a place like the Atacama, winning that game is the difference between life and death. All right, so let's break down exactly why this waiting game is one of the most amazing survival tactics in all of nature.
I mean, just look at this list of plant superpowers. The seed can basically go into suspended animation to ride out any drought or cold. It'll wait for years, not just for good conditions, but for the perfect conditions. Plus, it makes seeds easy to spread over long distances, and it allows them to be stored for later, which is something we humans really took advantage of.
For these desert plants, this is absolutely make or break. Think about it. They can't risk sprouting after just one little rain shower, because the sun would just fry the seedling instantly. So dormancy makes sure they only get going after a rain that's heavy enough to wash away their internal chemical breaks and provide enough water for the plant to grow, flower, and make new seeds.
So how does that wake-up call actually work? Let's look at the really elegant biology behind what it takes to get a dormant seed to finally wake up. Okay, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is with a simple analogy. You can think of every dormant seed as having a bunch of biological locks that keep it from growing. And to germinate, it needs a very specific key. And there are basically two main kinds of locks. On the outside, you have physical locks, like a really tough, waxy seed coat that water can't even get through. And then on the inside, you've got chemical locks. These are natural inhibitor compounds that are basically screaming at the little plant embryo, "Don't grow yet. Not yet." And in the Atacama, that heavy winter rain, that's the master key. It's strong enough to literally wear down that hard outer shell, letting water and oxygen get inside. At the same time, there's enough water to dissolve and wash away all those chemical inhibitors on the inside. It unlocks both doors at once, finally giving the seed the green light to grow. Now, all of this might just seem like a cool, quirky fact about a faraway desert. But it turns out that understanding dormancy is actually incredibly important for all of us, especially when it comes to the food we eat. Yeah, those same principles that let the Atacama bloom are something we humans use every single day in farming. We've actually learned how to hack seed dormancy for our own benefit. And here's how we do it. To get past that tough outer shell, the physical lock,
Farmers use something called scarification. You can just think of it as roughing up the seed coat a little, scratching it so water can get in. Then, to deal with the internal chemical locks, we use a process called stratification. This is where we basically trick the seed. We store seeds in cold, damp conditions to make them think they've just been through a long winter, which signals to the embryo that, hey, spring is here, it's time to grow.
And these hacks are so important. They're what allow us to create huge seed banks, storing the world's food supply for years on end. And they give farmers precise control, making sure that billions of seeds all sprout at the same time, right when we need them for a successful harvest.
When you get right down to it, it all comes back to this incredible resilience. This quote sums it up perfectly. Dormancy is like nature's ultimate insurance policy. It's a form of suspended animation that lets life just wait through the absolute worst conditions you can imagine. You know, the flowering desert is just this spectacular reminder that even in the most empty-looking places, life isn't gone, it's just waiting. And it really makes you wonder, what other incredible secrets in the world around us or even in our own lives are just lying there, dormant, waiting for the right moment to bloom?